Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Finding Nemo for the PlayStation 2. In the last episode, we made our way through the deep dark abyss in search of a mask and escaped a giant horrible creature with razor sharp teeth. In this episode, we are heading back to the dentist. Back to the tank with Mount Wanahakalogi. I really want to know who invented that name and what that name actually means, because I'm sure that name has a meaning of some description. And it's thanks to this, for the longest time I'm struggling to read it because I could never quite make out the pronunciation in the film. And it's thanks to this game that I discovered what that fish was, like the anglerfish. Granted, I kept misreading it as angelfish. Of course, I completely ignored the fact that there's an R in it. And it wasn't. I think there must have been one of the behind-the-scenes documentaries or something on the DVD that taught me, oh, anglerfish. It is very easy to die in this level, as you can no doubt tell. You want to know the funny thing? This is my second take of the level, because the last few bubble rings are so easy to miss, I find. And I managed to get through this whole section without dying once.
The Ring of Fire! Will you turn on the Ring of Fire? Turn it on! The fire!
There are no bubbles!
Bubbles! Where? The mountain has spoken. Nemo must complete the tasks of Mount Wanahakalugi. Go forth and return when you have finished.
Tasks?
Leaks need to be blocked.
There's something very disturbing about Bloat's mouth I find in this game. So, by the way, this is the dentist. He's supposed to be caring for these fish, right? Well, he thinks he's caring for the fish. He has these Tiki masks in here which shoot out poisonous, fiery bubbles. Why is this in a fish tank? This is very bad. He's not taking care of this fish tank at all. I wonder what that sign means. Okay, so we gotta do, we gotta knock all of the stones into the holes. There are a few other leaks that are sealed by different means. That sign, which itself is a leak, is a clue. So, it's right, left, middle, right, left. I don't know how Nemo is making these noises into them. Or indeed, I don't know how this fixes a leak, to be honest. Look, now they're leaking. But that seems to get rid of the leak of poisonous bubbles. Yeah, there are a few bubble rings that are quite easy to miss. Thankfully, as you're just going up the side of the volcano, you should be able to see that one. That was close. Right. I hate this part. For two reasons. Number one, this takes forever. Just constantly darting into this thing to very slowly make the diver go down. The diver that should be going up and down naturally in the first place. Well, not naturally, it's electronic, but... Anyway, and then we gotta just seal the lock. Seal the leak, I should say. But it takes forever, and I've had plenty of times where I dart just a little bit too early. And if the thing isn't completely up when you dart, you can potentially just go right over it. Like, Nemo will just act like it isn't there, it'll push him over, and then you go right into the bubbles, and then you gotta do it all over again. And there we go. Yeah, so in other levels where... I think hide and seek is the only one where you go across the entire tank. I think the others you tend to just explore like one half of it. So that tends to be what you get. These are very easy to miss. Woo! I don't know what happens if I hit that and don't get the star in time. Hey, look, another one of these. And you know what? This one is ridiculously easy. See how much simpler this one is? Why can't they all be like that? Why are... I believe that's the last one.
The mountain is ready. Nemo, you may now return and face your destiny.
Yeah, why is that one so... Why is that puzzle so simple? But thankfully, I believe that is the last puzzle in the entire game. There's no more bonus games of them. I don't think they're in any other levels as well. Right, we actually have rings of fire this time, only these ones don't hurt us. And let's face it, the one in the movie isn't exactly a ring. And there we go. really sure what the purpose of that level is, but oh well. It makes more sense in the next tank level, because that's got nothing to do with anything. So to make up for that, I guess, they're now going to bring us into one of the most frustrating levels in the entire game. But before we do that, we of course have our little mini game left to do. And, well, there's one, excluding the very last one, which is unique, there's one final kind of mini game that we haven't seen yet. And that is known, according to the manual, as Simon Says. So we never meet the big shoal of fish in the film. So this is what we have instead. Just go over to what they say. Unfortunately, these ones tend to drag out, and the longer it goes on, of course, the more difficult it is to memorize. It's not like it adds one on every time. Like you go, Peach, and then Peach Bubble Jacques, and then Peach Bubble Jacques Deb, or something like that. It's different every time. If you get it wrong, thankfully, it doesn't repeat it. It does repeat itself. Like, it doesn't reset to something new. That said, I do find it a bit difficult to tell apart Bubbles and Deb. The differences are noticeable, but only slight. Like, Deb's got a slightly differently shaped head. And she's got like a longer fin above her head, on her back. Because Bloat is a pufferfish, we do... I think there's 3 of these. There's one that's the tank gang. One that is basically like other characters we see, and then one is enemies. And of course the enemies that we see in this game are pufferfish. So that symbol looks exactly the same. I can't remember who is in the other characters one day. I think it includes Crush, I think Bruce, the anglerfish and the whale. I can't remember. We'll get to that at some point. I don't remember what level that is though. I remember that there's this one and there's one in Whale Chase. Oh no! But I can't remember what the other level is. Is it Training with Gil? It might be Training with Gil. I can't remember. We're only like halfway through. No, we're not. We're more than halfway through the game. So this is where I get. It gets surprisingly tense actually when you don't remember what one it is. Ah! And incredibly frustrating when you forget it right towards the end. Because you have to wait for them to showcase all of them again. What I do like are the times where it might do, like, it'll show one character, then another one, then the first one again, then the second one again. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice and easy to remember. Something like, Bloat, Peach, Bloat, Peach. There's a lot more points than the star they're making. So yeah, I don't like those mini-games. I mean, I prefer them over the puzzles and bouncing the ball. I can't remember though if there's any other mini-games where we're bouncing on things. So we had one in Field Trip, but I don't think there's any actual... I don't know, actually I think... Is it Training with Gil? I think there might be one other level. But I can't remember if that's... Because there's something similar within the level itself. I think it's like there's one in the level and then there's an easier one that's the bonus game. We'll get to that. I haven't recorded anything past this part yet, so I don't really remember. Anyway, welcome to Jellyfish Race. Just like Mount Wanahakalogi, I had to restart this one because this one is one of the absolute worst levels for getting the bubble rings. So, even though it's a race, there's no starfish for winning the races. These races are completely optional for winning. I mean, the starfish are optional anyway, but... And that likes to happen frequently. It's like you hit the jellyfish and then instead of bouncing you off, it just does that. Like, I don't know, like the jellyfish deflates or something. Like that. You press the button, but it's too fast. And that unfortunately makes it very easy to miss the bubble rings, which is what happened to me right at the end of the level. Now, we're bouncing on jellyfish, so we could probably take a slight guess as to what's... Wow, they really do disappear. They are on a set path that will send you through the bubble rings, which is why it's so easy to miss them when it makes you... when it does that. There is a section where you have to bounce on jellyfish, and it's the biggest bouncing section in the game. However, because I had to restart the level to get the bubble rings, I already had the starfish in after bouncing on all the jellyfish. But trust me, not missing anything, mainly because I was there forever. Because of course, this is a forest of jellyfish. There's going to be squishies. So, you're not seeing me do all of this. All we're watching is just my second playthrough of the level. I still have to bounce on all the jellyfish that have the bubble rings on them. As you can see by the lack of the counter, I have already gotten the starfish for jumping on all the jellyfish. I mean, we've seen this plenty of times before. It's nothing different. It's just this jellyfish, and there's like 128 of them or something like that. It's by far the biggest bouncing section in the game, with a lot of squishies that go wherever they want to. I don't know how long I was here. It was a very long time. All because of those squishies. Yeah, just go. Go. And these squishies are still a lot bigger than the one that we see in the film. And the one that stings Dory is absolutely tiny. It could probably pass as plankton. Actually, are baby jellyfish plankton? I don't see why they wouldn't be. What I want to know is, what species of jellyfish is this? Like, they go to the attention to make every other animal based off of a real-life species. What one is this? I think they're called sea nettles, but I can't really remember. Except I think they're more of an orange colour. They look really cool, though. I don't think they're actually dangerous either, despite their size. Because unless, I mean, I know you can get, like, you can have an allergic reaction to bee stings. I don't see why a jellyfish would be any different. I don't know. But otherwise, most jellyfish are just, they'll sting you, but that's it. Just don't pee on it. I believe that is a myth. Despite what friends might tell you, don't pee on it. This, ooh! How did I do that? How did I just do that? Can you see why this took so long the first time, having to try and bounce on every single jellyfish whilst trying to avoid the completely random AI of the squishies? And this one, more than any other, is where your character just likes to get stuck while bouncing around and just not go anywhere. There we go. Race number 2. Again, this is where I failed to get one of the last bubble rings, and I had to start all over again because of stuff like that. See, I barely made that one. I don't know what causes it. I know if you don't press the button fast enough, and try not to do that. Don't press the button too early. I know if you don't press the button fast enough, it does eventually like do that deflation thing, but other times it does it immediately, and Dory can also knock you aside.
Oh man, you can't let evolution. I was built for speed.
And they do make the same quotes as they do in the film, which is nice. You can get quite a lot of shells in this level, though. Because remember, you can't touch the tentacles, only the tops, because the tops don't sting you. I want to know, would a clownfish be immune to a jellyfish's venom? Or would it just depend on the jellyfish? Because we are talking like two animals that are related to each other, jellyfish and enemies, so if it's immune to one sting, would it be immune to the other? But then again, I also don't know if maybe the clownfish is a specific type of an enemy. I have no idea. This is something I must research. Though whether or not anybody has actually tried to see if a clownfish can be killed by a jellyfish, I don't know. But it probably depends on the jellyfish. They're probably not immune to a box jellyfish's sting. You'll probably kill them instantly. Because they are freaking terrifying. And highly venomous. About the most venomous animal in the world. So, the level that has the largest bouncing section also has the largest one of these. Why? Well, let's take a look at that number, shall we? I could just pause the game and show it, but we're going to do it this way. 80. There's 80 of these things. Weirdly, the instruction manual has a picture of this and it shows there's 81. But, well, what's left of my manual. My manual is very much destroyed. I think more than any of my others. Because Finding Nemo is one of the games I got with my original PlayStation 2, so it was one of the very first games I ever played. It was this, along with, I don't remember the exact order, but altogether I got this, The Simpsons Hit and Run, there was a Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem, was the other, and Sonic Heroes. If there was one or two others, I don't remember what they were. Some had to be replaced, like the Scooby-Doo game had to be replaced. Simpsons Hit and Run flat out went crazy, and rather disturbingly, when I tried it out on my cousin's PS2, it caused their PS2 to break. That's our theory anyway. It was after I played the game, that's when it was working fine before, and then it wasn't. So whatever it was doing, it killed the PlayStation 2. Thankfully, it wasn't my PlayStation 2. I don't care how much of a jerk I sound. But Sonic Heroes and Finding Nemo, they are still the original copies. Been in my possession since 2004. I think it was Christmas 2004. I've gotten through 4. I'm on my 4th PS2, and this thing is dying so much. But the original game's currently still working. I don't play Sonic Heroes on PS2 anymore. I have it on GameCube now, which is infinitely better. I do not have this one, however. This thing goes on for a while. Even worse, it's very easy to lose where exactly you're going. For the most part, you can sort of follow like a pathway, but they don't always abide by that rule. You can do this in like a circle. So I could probably have done that section last. So this is a mistake there. I mean, I had to go up here to get these bubble rings, but they are just to the, they were right beneath me on that left-hand side. And then I spent forever looking for them. At the very least, there's no killer jellyfish here. The jellyfish are just a background image. Like, there's no squishies or anything like that. The area does get a little bit on the dark side, but we're also going into some kind of cave, which is odd, because I recall... Or maybe this is the trench. Is this the trench? It looks nothing like the trench, but is it? Is it? The trench that we see before we get to the Forest of Jellyfish that they should have gone through rather than over. Judging from the dead fish skeleton that's inside, it was probably a bad idea to take either way. You know, the Forest of Jellyfish is way bigger than the trench itself. It's unfortunate that those fish decided to tell Dory. I mean, she partly remembered, she just couldn't remember why. I'm pretty sure if she just said, oh, those fish said not to go through the trench, then it would have been fine, but this is Dory. This is exciting. Guess what? This is going to start, as of the next level, these are going to start appearing in the actual levels! Yeah, isn't that great? That's what we needed. That's the most boring and frequently seen minigame. Wasn't already bad enough on the fact that there's like 5 of these things. In fact, I think this... What number of this are we on now? We're going to school, we had minefield, mask search, jellyfish rate. Yeah, so there's 5 of these things. And yet they also appear in 2 levels. And one of which is mandatory. It's not even for a starfish. It's actually mandatory in the next level. The other one, it's optional. It's just for a starfish. But it will be mandatory. The one time it's mandatory in the game. You also do start to get quite tired of that spring sound effect. That little boing sound effect, whatever you want to call it. Oh, we're nearly done. No, we're not nearly done. This is good. We've got like 5 minutes of this. 54 out of 80. I want to know why the instruction manual says it's 81. What bubble got cut out? What one didn't make the cut? Then you get to this. You can't push the ball up. You've got to get it up the slope at a fast enough speed that it does go above the ground for a bit. And then you got to try and keep it that way whilst going downhill. Because otherwise stuff like that will happen. So try not to accidentally push it to the ground. Oh, come on! That slope's not big enough, so now we've got to push it back again. This is where it really... Try doing this with a current, and then you'll have the last of these challenges, which is by far the worst of these challenges. You know, I hate this one because of how long it is. I hate Minefield because of the mines and the fact that I can barely see Marlin, but the last one, it's so simple. There's only 10, but you have a current. And, well, once I don't even think it's possible. So I think if you miss like the upper half of the bubble rings, once it's in the current, there's no getting that ball back. You're gonna have to hit restart. But we'll get to that one much later. So now I have to push this thing high enough to get it away from the wall. As it gradually descends back down. This thing is full of air, isn't it? Shouldn't it just be going straight up? Mask search only, apparently. And just about again, this thing is quite generous. In terms of just going through the hoop. No! Right, at the very least you can then just let it drop down, but it's boring! Come on, descend! Descend faster! I'll make a lamp fall on you! It'll bounce around and squish you. Not like a squishy. Right, just where I got lost. So, yeah. Fast forward, because I was searching for a while. It was just up there. It was just up there. No, I just realised there's something about the shape of this. Apart from there's two sections up here. Wait, you know, when you listen to this music sped up, it kind of sounds like Mario getting bigger. There they are. Try bouncing this thing upwards over and over again. It's actually quite difficult. And I missed one! And now it's too far away from the wall. Or too close to the wall, rather. The complete opposite of that. Ever so slightly. It's like Mr. Ray waiting for a starfish to move. Is this thing even alive? It's like watching algae grow. Remember patience. Every movement is like a jewel to be studied. Wait, is that... nothing. That's enough of the starfish. I've had enough. And then it just cuts him off. Alright. Well, the next level hasn't got anything to do with anything. It's time for the filler level in the next video, Training with Gil. So I will see you guys then.